2018 Toyota GT86 Review. The good points of Toyota GT86. Great drive and automobile. Strong engine. Surprisingly comfortable. Generously equipped. The bad points of Toyota GT86. Not especially economical. Rear seats are cramped. Doesn't feel you wish it looks. Few personalization options. Lightweight, fun to drive and affordable, the Toyota GT86 Coupe is really a car its maker hopes will tempt performance car enthusiasts back in the brand. Developed with a visually and mechanically almost identical Subaru BRZ, the rear-wheel drive Toyota is aimed squarely on the likes with the Audi TT Coupe, BMW 2 Series Coupe and Volkswagen Scirocco. The Mazda MX-5, admittedly a roadster, is usually in the Toyota's sights. Make no mistake, such as the Toyota Corolla GT Coupe in the 1980s, seemed to enthusiasts by its AE86 internal code name. The GT86 is aimed squarely at individuals who love driving. And if you need to be fully on message, Toyota's marketing blurb suggests the vehicle should be called the GT86, not 86. We suspect a lot of people will allow that to slide. We ran one to be a long-termer for a few months. Watch more here. Driver-focused fancy car. In the words on the Japanese company, it can be an entirely driver-focused machine, built to deliver the core qualities with the classic fancy car experience. It was eagerly anticipated, most famously because Toyota has issued teaser after teaser for quite a while showing concept cars and disguised mules as being the project took shape, following the demise in the last Celica Coupe. Critics were disappointed together with the long shortage of any kind of sporty offering from Toyota, the firm foregoing fun and preference of reliable, economical and family-friendly machines. It's nice thing about it that the GT86 can be used in an effort to reinvent the company's image, but what's so interesting regarding it from a performance mindset? Developed in partnership with Subaru. Co-developed with Subaru, the recipe looks good in writing. The first thing to note is the car is rear-wheel drive, which for purists would be the only way to create a performance car. The next ingredient could be the 2.0-liter, four-cylinder petrol engine from Subaru. Making 200 horsepower, the interesting thing engine is its cylinder configuration. It's a flat 4 or boxer unit, meaning the cylinders are laid on his or her sides. Think of it to be a V4 though a 180-degree arc involving the two banks of cylinders. This allows the engine to become mounted further down inside body, decreasing the center of gravity and improving handling. It has relatively thin tires for just a modern performance car too, which further serves to boost the driving experience and produce it more exciting at lower speeds since they lack the amounts of adhesion drivers have grown to be accustomed to. 2 gearboxes are offered, manual and automatic, both with 6 speeds. Designed to seat 4 people, there isn't so much space from the rear, although this can be a car that's primarily irresistible to drivers. Despite that, Toyota hasn't angled the dashboard aggressively to your driver, but every one of the controls are within easy reach. Facelift for 2017. At the conclusion of 2016, Toyota ushered within the facelifted GT86. It's a subtle makeover with new LED headlamps and tail lights, reprofiled bumpers, a reworked interior and improved equipment levels. Mechanically the body shell is stiffer, which results in better handling. The verdict. It's hard to not love the Toyota GT86, it's really a modern classic you should purchase now. There's an abundance of promised reliability, as a result of Toyota and Subaru's legendary reliability, but fun is served aplenty due to the old-school rear-wheel drive chassis. It's not perfect, most similarly priced hot hatches will outrun it, but outright speed isn't what this car's talents are only concerned with. If you are able to live without effective rear seats, and mind the coupe compromises, the GT86 is usually a very rewarding car to purchase and own. Watch the complete Toyota GT86 coupe review to find out why we rate this fun four-seater so highly. Engine needs for being worked hard, but it's joyous whenever you do. Slick shifting manual probably the most fun. Although there's no debate about whether or not the Toyota GT86 is often a sports car, performance is sparkling instead of dazzling. One number of engine. Whichever GT86 you choose to buy, there's only one type of power plant nestled in the Toyota's nose, a 2.0-liter, non-turbo petrol unit having its four cylinders arranged in the horizontally opposed, or boxer, configuration, often known as D4S. This is primarily for the reason that engine derives from Subaru, exponents of this sort of engine since 1970s. It's ideal for a sports vehicle because its wide, flattened design allows the weight with the engine to sit down low down, bestowing the vehicle with greater dynamic ability. Peak power is 200 horsepower for a revampy 7,000 revolutions per minute, meaning make it work tirelessly to get the best from the jaw horse, something it lets you do willingly. Maximum torque of 205 Nm also demands the engine for being revved, as it's fully on song between 6,600 revolutions per minute. In real terms, this involves frequent gear changing, particularly if overtaking or pulling from slower corners, reinforcing that this is often a car the driving force has to become involved in order to extract probably the most pleasure from that. Two transmission types. Two 6-speed transmissions are offered, one manual, additional and automatic. Stick with all the former for the top speed of 140 miles per hour and also a 0.62 miles per hour acceleration use of 7.6 seconds. Opt for your auto and people figures tumble to 130 miles per hour and 8.2 seconds. It's not assume all about outright pace though. The GT86 creates a grind-inducing growl that noticeably changes pitch because the revs chase on the red line, something you'll do frequently. Although many enthusiasts will immediately discount the automatic option, the self-shifting box is decent. It's a standard automatic as opposed to a twin-clutch job, but could be the quickest shifting of the company's type. When coupled while using paddle shifters behind the controls, you're in a position to extract a really engaging drive from an automated GT86 once you've learned the ropes. The manual gearbox, however, is all around perfection. It lies brilliantly within the cockpit, carries a positive and engaging feel and swaps between cogs inside a measured and assured fashion. Handling established to deliver fun. Small controls offers great feedback. Tailgate driving with assurance. Handling. This is what the Toyota GT86 is centered on. Unlike many performance-oriented cars, the GT86 uses common or Gurdon 17-inch wheels with tires originally suited for the Toyota's sensible Prius hybrid car. The key is their low rolling resistance implies that they're not especially grippy, allowing the GT86's back to slide in corners quicker. The suspension is tuned for an exciting drive. It's firm although not harsh, whilst the steering offer excellent feedback and respond accurately to driver inputs. Measuring 365 mm, the tire itself may be the smallest ever designed to a Toyota. This accentuates each turn from the wheel, affording the trucker far more accuracy. What you truly notice when driving the GT86 quickly is that it can be just so balanced through corners. It feels incredibly assured after you want it to become, but a liberal putting on your right foot will tease the rear end out in a very progressive, controllable manner. The sophisticated stability and traction control systems complete a great job of creating sure all things are pointing inside the right direction, although should you're feeling particularly brave you'll be able to turn them off for any raw and highly entertaining game of tail-out Toyota. Low slung driving position promotes engagement. Very supportive seats, in the event you're about the slimmer side. Cabin is high quality but doesn't feel special. The right off the bat you notice once you slide in the Toyota GT86 is definitely how low the driving position is. This is really a deliberate effort to produce the driving experience more rewarding, and as well lowering the auto's center of gravity wherever possible. Its seats have been built to provide optimum support during hard acceleration, braking and cornering, yet Toyota also claims this is often a car you'll be able to drive long distances in comfort. Those wider of hips may experience they pinch somewhat, though. Each in the controls is organized perfectly for sporty driving. The gear lever is defined brilliantly, the controls small enough to elicit accurate and quick inputs, as well as the pedals are beautifully spaced for people who like to jockey those as well because hand controls. The materials used inside cabin are of the good quality, and feel particularly hard-wearing, but there's little from the way of tactile delight through the dashboard or switchgear. Operating the multimedia touchscreen along a bumpy road can show particularly troublesome. Modestly sized wheels promote comfort. Front seats occupants have decent space. It's very tight inside the back, though. Comfort is surprisingly prevalent using the Toyota GT86. Those front seats are supportive and many people feel ensconced within them. And yes, it actually rides fairly well for just a car of the type. That's in part since the 17-inch alloy wheels are relatively small by today's standard, allowing for any much greater degree of damping compliance and travel being engineered in the GT86's suspension arrangement. Road and wind noise are suppressed and spied on the door's frameless windows, as well as the only noise you hear from your tires can be a little chirp if they begin to lose traction. Climate control effectively cools and heats the cabin effectively, but smaller adults and children relegated for the scalloped rear seats aren't going to become impressed by the possible lack of head and legroom. Just 2 trim levels inside standard range. Generous quantities of standard equipment, but therefore few options to select. Just 2 trim levels form the range for Toyota's rear-wheel drive sports coupe, GT86 in standard form, or perhaps the plusher GT86 Pro. Standard Toyota GT86 coupe equipment. Albeit the entry point towards the range, the conventional GT86 is hardly lacking in terms of equipment. Survey the coupe's curvaceous exterior and you'll see the LED headlamps with integral day running lights, front fog lamps nestled into your outer edges from the front bumper, 17-inch 10-spoke alloy wheels, electrically folding door mirrors and keyless entry that has a push-button starter. Climb inside and you'll appreciate the cruise control, hill start assist, a 3-spoke leather-wrapped controls, dual-zone climate control plus the Toyota Touch 2 multimedia system with DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. Progress up towards the GT86 Pro and further niceties are lavished upon the Toyota. Inside front seats are heated and trimmed in leather and Alcantara faux suede, a cloth that's also applied towards the dashboard plinth. Making the surface stand out is often a boot-lid spoiler, even if this can be deleted in case you prefer the smoother look. Optional Toyota GT86 coupe accessories. Due for the GT86's high quantities of standard equipment, choices for the Toyota coupe are few in number. Essentially you're limited on the Toyota Touch 2 with Go Satinov upgrade for that multimedia system, rear parking sensors as well as a high-performance JBL sound upgrade which has a 440-watt amplifier and 9 speakers. Those have been fitted for the factory when the auto's being built. However, your Toyota dealer can also be happy to offer you mud flaps, carbon fiber look door mirrors and the entire body graphics for the more personalized appearance. Not tested by Euro NCAP. Suite of contemporary safety equipment. LED lights through the 2016 facelift. Although the Toyota GT86 is one from the few cars that hasn't been independently crash-tested because of the collision impact experts at Euro NCAP, its overall quantities of safety usually are not a concern. With equipment such as being a switchable stability control program, 7 airbags along with a torque-sensing rear differential, the GT86 shouldn't pose much of any problem inside the safety stakes. Toyota isn't recognized for building flimsy cars. While the GT86 had LED day running lights through the start, the facelift during 2016 ensured the automobile is a lot more visible with full LED headlamps and taillights becoming part on the package. Lack of tailgate inhibits boot access. Rear seats aren't very spacious. Lack of interior ottoman space. You don't tend to acquire dainty sports coupes for out-and-out practicality, but even in this genre the Toyota GT86 isn't great compared having its rivals. Firstly, unlike the Audi TT Coupe and Volkswagen Scirocco, the GT86 doesn't use a large tailgate to reach the boot, instead making use of your small boot lid. It no less than swings generously out in the way. Even so, the aperture itself is quite small. Similarly, the BMW 2 Series Coupe is additionally a 2 in lieu of a 3-door coupe. Nonetheless, it outscores the Toyota here by virtue with the fact its rear seats are more likely to become able for being used by smaller adults as opposed to tight pair within the back from the GT86. In many regards it's wise to think on the Toyota as being a 2-seater using a very occasional couple of pack seats and instead utilize them as additional boot space. Talking which, often there's 237 liters of luggage area inside Toyota's tail, which is usually extended further by folding the rear seats down. Elsewhere within the cabin within the inland northwest spaces for storing things, so it's far better to pack light and eliminate your usual in-car detritus.